Shalom, Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. To the brothers and the hopeful ladies pushing this truth, Shalom. Now this video is just gonna straight to the point. Of course, use multiple scriptures, multiple books in the Bible to prove that the Israelites would lose their knowledge and heritage of being the Israelites. The so-called Edomites would pretend to be the Israelites by taking their heritage and their land. And while they were doing that, they will be on top of the planet Earth as we see now. And yes, I'm pointing at the so-called white people being the Edomites, which is funny because you have the small headers, the Israelis, acting like they're different than other so-called white people when they're obviously the same people. But they have infighting. Like I've seen videos of um um lower level Edomites, lower tribes of the Edomites going against Amalek, saying they're the Edomites, and then Amalek is saying the other Edomites are the Edomites when they're both Edomites. But that just shows that the truth is spreading like wildfire. Obviously, of course, like the scripture said that it would, and the rulership of these devils is going down. Now, Jeremiah 17th chapter, verse 4. Even thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage. So the land of Israel, being known as the Israelites, specifically Yasharallah, which is the proper way of saying Israel, which means he, Prince Yah, he, Shara, Prince La, power. He, Prince, power. Even and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. So the Israelites would not be known as the Israelites via the other heathens doing it, pursuing to Psalms, the 83rd chapter. You can go check that out. I'm not going to dive into that. Just go check out Psalms 83rd chapter, which says that all the other nations will make the Israelites forget who they are, starting with the Edomites, because it starts with them and they're referenced twice in there because it goes in Amalek. And they'll go to a land that thou knowest not, which is the Americas, and our enemies, which are the Edomites. Now that that's been established, let's go to another one that says pretty much the same thing. Lamentations 5 verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens, which are the Edomites. The Edomites took the heritage of the Israelites. Our land, our nationality, our quote unquote race was given to the Edomites. Now let's go to Revelations, the 3rd chapter. Revelations chapter 3 verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So the synagogue of Satan, which, pursuant to the scriptures, would be controlling the planet Earth, are pretending to be the Israelites, as we see so-called white people, the Rothschilds, what's that other dude? I forgot his name, but pretty much the leaders of this world that control the EU, the UN, so on and so forth, correct? NATO are ran by the Edomites, specifically the Amalekites, the Israelis, which Revelation chapter 3 verse 9 is going into. Which people do not like going into. They don't like reading these scriptures and truly getting the full meaning, because it takes away the white supremacy and the narrative that these Edomites, which are the so-called white people, of course, have established on the planet Earth, starting with the Renaissance. And Jeremiah and Lamentations that we just went into proves that also, right? Those two in these three scriptures prove that they're not the Israelites, but there's obviously many, many more that I'm going to go into. It proves that because the Israelis, the small hatters with the big noses, they got big noses and small hats, and they wear all black and stuff. They say they always knew that they were the Israelites. They say that. They say they always knew. The scripture says otherwise. Let's go to Ezekiel about the true Israelites, of course. Let's go to Ezekiel 36 chapter. Start from the top, verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said Yahweh thy power, because thy enemy has said against you, Abba, aha, Salakia, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore, prophesy and say, Thus said Yahweh thy power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers and are infamy of the people. And we see that now with the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 4, Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh thy power. Thus said the Lord, Yahweh thy power, to the mountains and to the hills and to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Verse 5, Therefore thus said Yahweh thy power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which are the Edomites, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. So the Edomites control the land of Israel. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, to the valleys, Thus said Yahweh thy power, Behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Let me scroll down a little bit. Verse 23, Ezekiel 36, verse 23, And I will sanctify my great name, which is Yahweh, not God, not Jehovah, which have profaned among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Lord thy power, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. So the Israelites will all the heathens, all the world, which are the Israelites are in all nations, will see the elect being sanctified, being delivered in the second covenant, which is immortality, having a body like Yahushua. Verse 24, I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries. Has that happened yet? Nope. These Israelis, Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, is under the control of finding and supporting, quote unquote, the Israelites, quote unquote. They don't even go to all nations. They go to Europe and Asia. When I'm talking about Asia, specifically Russia and Edomite nations, they pretty much only go to Edomite nations to find the quote unquote Israelites, and they'll go to like Ethiopia. So all the heathen, not all the heathen nations, all Edomite nations and Hamites which are the Ethiopians, are the only people in the eyes of Esau Edom are the Israelites, because you got the goddamn devil ruling. Verse 25. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you. So once the Israelites go back to the land, they will have the second covenant. And ye shall be clean. So once the Israelites get back, they will be clean. Are the Israelis there clean? Nope. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. You know how many different religions and then false idols are in that land, our land. This is just further stamping the point that we are the Israelites, they are the Edomites. A new heart will I also give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. The second covenant, Hebrews chapter 8, Jeremiah chapter 31. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. So, again, the second covenant, which again is immortality, spiritual power, the same body as Yahweh. Salaki, Yahweh Shai. Has that happened yet? No. How long have they been in the land? 70 plus years. Do you understand? Now let's go to Ezekiel, the 11th chapter, and it's going to connect with Ezekiel 26th chapter. Ezekiel 11, I'm going to start at 16. Verse 14. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel holy, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, and Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, because Jerusalem, the land, Israel, the land, was named after the people. Get you far from Yahweh unto us in the land given in possession. Therefore say, Thus said Yahweh thy power, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Therefore say, Thus said Yahweh thy power, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. And they shall come thither, and they shall take away all the detestable things thereof, and all the abominations thereof from thence. And I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you. And I will take the stony heart out of their flesh, and I will give them an heart of flesh, that they may walk in my statutes and keep my ordinances. So keeping the law, statute, commandments, not breaking them, because that's the second covenant, and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power, which obviously has not happened yet. Now let's go to Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. You see, the so-called Christians do not go into these scriptures like this, because they are under the spell of these Edomites, these heathens, the wicked. Ezekiel 35th chapter. Scroll down to verse 15. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel. So the Edomites have the inheritance. What is the inheritance? Being an Israelite, having the land of the house of Israel, because it was desolate. So will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, in all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So the Edomites have been stated multiple times in the scriptures to act like they're the Israelites, have the land, being calling themselves the Israelites, so on and so forth. And as we see now, in this, it's so obvious. These scriptures is so obvious that you had to be either a fool or in denial. You had not even a fool, by a fool I mean you have some type of actual mental disability. If you're not mentally disabled, you can see that these scriptures are clearly pointing at the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans being the Israelites, and the speckled bird, which have been scattered through all nations, pursuing Numbers 1 and 18, where it says, you are your father's seed. So if I impregnate a so-called white woman, and then my son impregnates another so-called white woman, and then my grandson impregnates a so-called white woman, that kid will look like a so-called white person. Perfect example, Drake, his son, and his father. All three are men that are Israelites, but every generation they lose their typical Israelite look. Brown flesh, brown skin. We're not black. So-called white people are not white. They're red, like the scripture says they are. Esau came out red all over. Edom literally means red. Red people. So-called white people are clearly red, and we're clearly brown. And like I said, pursuing the Numbers 1 and 18, the Israelites that proves that the Israelites will look like these other nations. They'll look like Edomites, they'll look like Moabites, so on and so forth. Numbers 24, verse 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perisheth forever. So Amalek is the head tribe of the Edomites. Now Job 9 and 24 says the wicked, which pursuing to Malachi 1, 1 through 5 confirms that the Edomites are the wicked. Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. The judges is Yahweh, Yahushai, the Elohim, which are the angels, and the Israelites. Therefore, if not, where and who is he? So you see how these scriptures all connect together, placing you these Edomites as the it's not the Edomites, these so-called white people as the Edomites, pursuant to the scriptures, will be the ones that will act like they're the Israelites, control the earth in wickedness, be brought down by the Israelites and Yahushai and the Elohim, being sent forth by Yahweh, and to become the slaves of the Israelites, and then be exterminated by the Israelites. And nobody can say otherwise. Nobody can disprove this, because this is the truth, the hard cold truth, nothing but the truth. The scriptures do not contradict itself, so on and so forth. I'm gonna come back with a part two. I'm gonna end this off right here. Shalom.